Hello and welcome to Late Night Comfort. My name is Wes Franks. I am the founder and creative director of Carrion Comfort Studios, which is a Twitch stream right here on the internet that you're watching currently right now. And I am here with my wonderful, wonderful co-host, Derrick. What's good?
What up? Man, I've been chilling, playing a lot more Elden Ring.
Playing a lot more Elden Ring. I put Elden Ring down and I started playing Ghostwire Tokyo, and I'll
Yeah, I saw
say
you say that was cool.
it's really cool. It's really cool, especially if you're like, I don't know, it's putting like a little sci-fi twist on ghosts and Japanese folklore and everything. Very
Yeah,
cyberpunk meets horror. I'm loving it. It's great. Graphics are beautiful. Gameplay
yeah.
is simple at first, but it has a lot of depth to it.
hmm
So I can't wait to see how that's going. How's your week been, man?
It's been cool, man. I playing Elden Ring. My channel has become an Elden Ring channel,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. I've noticed on your streams. Yeah, yeah. I'm not complaining. I love people. I love watching people play FromSoft games.
Yeah. Sorry for anybody who has followed me for music. But
You'll have time to
I've been
get back
working
to
on
that.
some music. I've been working on some music. I got some stuff in the works with some artists. Also released the track with LJ, our previous guest.
Yeah, I did. I saw that. I listened to it.
Yeah,
It's great. It's really good. It's really good. Go check that out.
yeah.
Go check that
Thank
out.
you, thank you.
Here, let me go ahead. I'm gonna hit that music link here real quick, or I might. I don't know. We'll see. There we go. There's all the links. Go check out Derrick, the Facing Octopus. Go check out all that good stuff. Well, Derrick, we have a very special guest for this evening for Late Night Comfort. And as you know, everyone, Late Night Comfort is the newest premier late night talk show that you have here on Twitch TV, where we interview creators of not just TTRPGs, but also musicians, video creators, content creators, artists, what have you. We have a huge slate of guests tonight, but tonight we have a very special guest. The DMB, Brandon, is joining us here. How's it going, Brandon? How's it going?
What's good, guys? It's going
Hey.
pretty damn great. Happy to be here.
Fantastic, fantastic. How are you? Who are you? And how did you get here?
I'm good. I'm chilling. I am, just thriving and striving as one does. My name's Brandon. I go all over the internet by the DMB or DMB Gaming. I am a big TTRPG nerd as well as video games, co-owner of the Bards Playhouse, another TTRPG community Twitch channel, just like our folks here at CCS. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to be here and talking with you guys tonight.
Excellent, excellent. Happy to have you. A very important question that we ask all of our guests. Do you like my shirt? Do you like my shirt?
How can you not like Alabama? Look, I got a bunch of good friends that live in Alabama, and all I have to say is roll tide.
Roll Tide. And you know what? It's not just Alabama. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin, too. So, you got a little bit of both of that, too. Both of that, I know what my culture is. I know where I come from, okay? And I'm not, look, I'm not going to mince.
You don't got to be
We'll be
shy.
fine.
Wes.
I ain't got to be shy.
We all
about it.
know.
We
Yeah.
got it. We got it. Yeah. So, Brandon, where are you from?
Oh boy. Well, I am born and raised in the great state of Texas, so I'm a fellow Southerner, just like you
The
guys.
stars at night are big
That's
and
right.
bright. There we go. We did pretty all
That's
right with
right.
that. Oh.
I'm from a little town called Wichita Falls, Texas. It's not so little, technically. I mean, got like 150,000 people there, but I've been here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex for probably about 6 years, and I don't think I'm going anywhere. City life is what's suited for me, even though I think my parents would have preferred me to stay in a little small town. I just can't handle small town life.
Very much agreed. A very similar upbringing. I was born in Appalachia, though, all the way up in and I was born in Kentucky, raised in West Virginia, then moved down here to Alabama, and my family has always been more suited for small town life. But I am not that. I'm not that at all. I like living in a city. I can't go to sleep without hearing car horns and train horns and everything like that. I got to be able to hear it all.
Yeah, you gotta have the children screaming in the apartment next door while the other neighbor on the other side is playing 2000s R&B hits just loud enough for you to hear them through the wall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is my white noise. Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. All right. So can you go ahead and explain to us what TTRPGs are?
Yeah, I mean, TTRPGs, for those that are unaware, tabletop role-playing games, even in the sense that the format has kind of evolved as we've had to deal with, the world being on fire basically for the
Mm-hmm.
last 2 years of TTRPGs, virtual. So TTRPGs are obviously where a group of people get together and they play a bunch of made up people so that they can have the escapism in their life and maybe roll some dice. Can't forget the shiny click clacks.
Perfect. Yeah. All about them dice. It's well known my history with tabletop role playing games. I've gone on different shows and talked about it before. And Derek has a pretty, interesting story, a very deep and personally connected story to mine of his history with TTRPGs. Isn't that right, Derek?
Yeah, I didn't even know they were a thing for real until like what, maybe 2 years ago, if that,
That's
a
right.
year.
Yeah.
Because like, uh, I'm kind of a baby at this, and I played
Mm-hmm.
in what, maybe three, 4 games.
Three or four. Yeah, about 3 or 4 games. Yeah. Yeah. Wild.
Um, yeah, Wes introduced me to it.
That's what I was waiting for. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. I like hearing that you've introduced me to something and now I love it and I'm all about it and I'm like it's a
That
more
always
personal
gives you the feel goods. Yeah.
exactly fantastic. Derek, you want to go ahead and kick us off with our next question, please, sir?
Yeah. What is the Bards Playhouse, and where did you get the idea from?
All right, so there's a long history of the Bards Playhouse. So I'm just going to start off from where I kind of come into the picture because the channel was around under a different name actually whenever I first was introduced to it,
Mm-hmm.
and so there was another group that was running the channel. They decided that they had some real life obligations to come up, couldn't really maintain running the channel anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
my the co-owner of the channel, Ashley the Bard, took over officially after that, along with some of the admins that were with the old group, and some of our talent and things like that. I first was introduced to them through who they're sponsored with, their charity company, Jasper's Game Day. Played in one of their charity events. This was like back whenever I first started getting into um, the kind of streamed tabletop community. In fact, I'm pretty sure that like that was my first official like virtual tabletop game. I'd been running kind of my own Pathfinder game on my Twitch channel,
Yeah.
but it wasn't necessarily definitely the like not the same level of production or anything of that sort. So I had a great time as a player during that Jasper's Game Day event. I really kind of stuck with the Bards Playhouse as I got along with a lot of the people that were part of that community. Hung around there and was just generally helpful and available for streams and things like that. And then I think probably December of last year, November or December of last
Mm-hmm.
year, just kind of explained to Ashley, like, hey, I'm sure that you got a lot on your plate right now, and I've been really looking to break into the scene. Um, I want to be able to help you out, and I really enjoy this community. So this is what I bring to the table, and this is what I would help you to do to make the channel great. And she was all on board. So officially, I took over as a co-owner of the channel back in January of this year, and it's been going great so far. The Bards Playhouse specifically is a community that kind of focuses on some of the same things that Jasper's Game Day does. So we're really, really big, kind of, the word escapes me. We care a lot about mental health and suicide awareness, just like, that is kind of where our founding came from. So we're always preaching about things like that and making sure that we're advocating for those kinds of avenues and charities. We started off the channel as more of a D&D focused channel, but bringing in new DMs and storytellers, new players, myself included, we've kind of started to diversify our portfolio. So we've had a Pathfinder stream. We're starting to move into more of the horror-esque streams. We're currently running a Vampire the Masquerade stream, Star Wars, Alien RPG, and we've got a few more coming up that I can't talk about just yet because we haven't officially announced, but they're definitely in some lesser known RPG systems that we want to give some visibility.
Nice. Maybe we can pry that out of you by the end of this conversation if you like us enough. So the Bards Playhouse is very much rooted in TTRPGs. That's kind of your main focus, and that brings, and I've seen you run Pathfinder before. I've seen you run and I've seen you run Vampire the Masquerade as well, and I'm glad that y'all are bringing that to the forefront. So you have your own very close history with TTRPGs. What got you started with them? What kind of led you to like starting to play things like Dungeons and Dragons and Vampire the Masquerade and Alien and things of that nature?
Sure. So that's a fantastic question. I started back in middle school, I think. I mean, I've always been a nerd or a geek or whatever you want to call it. And my uncle, who was in the Navy at the time, started off in D&D back in 2nd edition, but by the time I was interested, they were in 3.5 edition. And so that's kind of where my introduction to TTRPGs was. So I got really used to just the number heavy, math heavy crunchiness of 3.5 edition D&D. Naturally transitioned over to Pathfinder whenever that system came out with the 1st edition. And I think that was probably when I was like 15 or 16. So it's been over a decade at this point that I've been playing in games and running them. Then I think I stuck on that D&D style type of game for a long, long time just because it was really the only thing that I had exposure to until I kind of started getting more into the RPG community and making friends with people in the community and just seeing that there were other types of games out there.
Yeah.
I think the first non-D&D style, like high fantasy style game that I played was Vampire the Requiem. So real old school World of Darkness.
Yeah.
It was fun at the time. That was well before even V20 had come out. But I think at that point in time, I just wasn't kind of developed in the sense of that level of like story telling in a game. I was more keyed into the math and the crunchiness. But ever since then, I mean, I've started to very quickly move over to those more story-driven RPG systems. Now, don't get me wrong, Pathfinder is always going to be the system that is my baby. I started on it. It's something I'm most familiar with, and it's definitely very fun for a type of game if you're really looking for high fantasy and you're okay with those crunchy math kind of situations.
Yeah.
But
right there.
There's a lot of other good RPGs out there to play.
Perfect. What do you think draws people to play these games? What do you think is like the primary thing that like wants to that makes people want to like sit around a table and do math essentially with their friends?
Well, in my experience, I think what has drawn at least players to my tables and what draws me to tables as a player is just the aspect of being able to put yourself in a different person's shoes, being able to basically, have that experience of, well, in real life, I might be an accountant or whatever, and I have to do this, day in and day out, and my life seems boring. But then you go and, if you want to play a vampire game where you're just this creature that has to live off of human blood that can, punch through a solid brick wall without flinching, it's fun. But there's also a couple of kind of things that I think draws people to that in a negative but positive aspect, right? Because a lot of times whenever you're playing these games, there's stress that's involved in the game, just like you would have outside of it. And I think what really draws people to it is having somebody tell a story and be in a collaborative storytelling environment where it's not just you that's building the narrative. You're with friends, hopefully people that you're at least acquainted with, building this story and kind of playing it out how everybody sees fit, and playing off of each other, socializing, and getting to know these types of interactions that you would make in that type of situation.
Nice, very nice, very nice. You got any thoughts on that, Derek?
Man, like, he hit it right on the head, really. Like,
well, speaking of hitting it right on the head, if you had to change into a car from the Cars universe, what kind of car would you be?
Who's answering that first?
You,
Is that me or Derek?
That's you. That's you.
Okay.
yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, look, don't judge me. Please don't, because I'm not the hugest animated Disney movie fan.
Okay.
I've seen Cars 1, but I haven't seen 2, and I think there's
That's
a third
fine.
one.
Yes, there is. Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Something about me just tells me that, the scene in Cars 1 where they're on the highway with the LED light cars and things like that,
Yeah.
that they're just out for a cruise, right? They're not doing anything with anybody else. They're just vibing out for a night drive, doing their own thing. I feel like I'd be one of those cars.
Perfect. What's your opinions on Cussy?
Well, look, if the TikToks are to believe that I have seen, anything with a hole can have the suffix "ussy" added to the end of it, and it makes it work.
Okay.
So,
all right. I'm watching you. DMB, if that is your real name. Bring the
it's my
popular
made-up
social
real
media.
name, if it matters.
That's fine. Bringing the popular social media app TikTok into this conversation. All right. Let's see. What do you got for us question-wise, Derek? Steer us away from Cussy and cars.
All right, Robert De Niro or Cleopatra? Who's the better firefighter?
Robert De Niro or Cleopatra? Is
And
Cleopatra
not the R&B group Cleopatra.
No.
right? We're talking like old times Egypt Cleopatra.
Yes.
Okay, now so I've got a counter question to that. Is it Cleopatra in the time that she was alive, or is she now alive in modern days?
We are. Derek, well, that's up to you, Derek. That would honestly be up to you. I would say.
Oh no, she here now.
Oh,
She's there now?
okay. Yeah, fish out of water. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Look, man, I think they would both have their merits. I think Robert De Niro could do a good job putting the fire out himself, but Cleopatra wouldn't have to. She'd just have people fall on her feet to put the water out for her.
Yeah.
So
That is pretty powerful.
If we're talking about just the merit of being able to extinguish the fire themselves and save people like you would expect a firefighter to do, my vote's going to have to go to Robert.
Perfect. Shout out Robert De Niro and Cleopatra. Wherever they are. Hope you're doing well. All that good stuff. Speaking of doing well, what's some content that you want to get into making this year? What's something that what's something that you really want to do, that you really want to bust out for either yourself or the Bards Playhouse?
So what is man, this is something that actually I've been wanting to do for God knows how long. I would really like to get into a con somewhere, somehow. even if it was a part of a partner at a booth or something like that. That's the type of content I'm looking to make right now. On the channel itself, uh, I'm not gonna say that we have any official plan set in stone so far, but I haven't really run a long-standing V5 Chronicle, and I've been wanting to. So maybe at the end, towards the end of the year, that might be getting started up.
Perfect. So, big, if anybody's watching this here in the future or anything like that, and you've got conventions coming up, I know like Unity or Dragon Con or MomoCon or Gen Con or anything like that, hit up DMB, hit up the Bards Playhouse, get them involved. They would love to be a part of it. As well as doing a long form Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle. Now, before I can personally allow you to do that, because that is my decision, I am, as we all know, I'm the royalty of Vampire the Masquerade. I know so much about it, and nobody yells at me and thinks that I don't know anything about Vampire the Masquerade. Are you prepared to deal with? Are you prepared with all of the things that come with running a Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle?
I think that I personally am ready for that because I have always been the type of storyteller that like I don't like to go off and run especially long form style content. Like I don't like to just jump in half cocked on it. So like if we're going to use this as an example, the game that I want to run, I have been planning for the last like year and a half. And
Amazing.
like it's really funny when I've talked to a lot of the people that have played in the short series or the one shots that I have run in Vampire.
Yeah.
And many of them have been set in the kind of the setting that I'm gonna be running. So like everything that's happened in those streams and Vampire games that I've run, of course, with the permission of the players and their consent, is canon to what's going to happen. So that's one of the really great ways that I like to create content is running short form and one shot kind of series that influence the longer form, because it not only gives people the ability to kind of get a taste of what that setting looks like, but it also helps me as a content creator and as a storyteller to have a little bit of non-me influenced things going on in the world. It just it feels better whenever I leave things up to other people rather than just saying, oh well, this is what's going to happen and these are the characters that are going to do it. I like leaving that up to those types of scenarios.
Okay. I like that. It's like building up to a comic book event.
Yeah, I like that too. Well, I think you're gonna be just fine. But I'll just let you know, as the king of Vampire the Masquerade, as the royalty of it, the person, my father is Mr. Masquerade, the owner of Vampire the Masquerade. I give you permission that if anybody comes into your DMs telling you that you're running the game wrong, you have my permission to yell at them and then block them.
I appreciate the permission. I will make sure now that I go with your blessing, Wes.
It comes with running a chronicle. When we did Iron City by Night here on the channel, a lot of people got mad at me because I wasn't doing things up to lore standards. And if you know me, you know my opinions on lore.
Listen, the lore. You know what? I'm gonna do this. Role-playing system ambiguous. The lore and the rules are all a subject to the DM's kind of style of running the game. It's all just suggestions. I mean, World of Darkness has been a thing for over 20 years at this point, and I just broke into it, about 2 years ago or so. I'm sorry, I don't have the mental capacity to go back and learn 20 years worth of lore. So, if I don't talk about something that happened, 15 years ago and quote it and run it correct or accurately to the lore in my game, well, it's my game. So
I agree. I agree completely. I'm sorry, but I'm only 28 years old and I'm a very busy person. And I only have so much time in my day dedicated to being a fucking nerd, which is, I do that proudly, but I only have so many hours in the day. I have a full-time job. And I like to go sing at people to make them feel good. But yeah, I completely agree. Thoughts, Derek? Anything you want to add on to that?
No, like people gotta relax. Hey, let a motherfucker run their shit.
That's honestly like, I think that TTRPG discourse would be a lot more simple if we had somebody like Derek just coming in and like tell them it's like, why don't you just fucking let people run their own shit? Just stop trying to tell people what to do. Shut up.
Yeah, no, let people have fun.
Yeah,
This shit fun. Let people have fun.
That's really what it all comes down to, especially whenever it comes to TTRPGs. The goal is not that, and this is what I try to tell anybody that's like new into TTRPGs, like if it's their first time or if they're thinking about wanting to play any kind of TTRPG. Like my first piece of advice to them is whenever you go to the table, just remember the goal is not to win. You don't win in a TTRPG. Your goal is to have fun, and if you're having fun, then you're doing it right.
Exacta fucking mundo. Couldn't have said it better myself. Speaking of TTRPG discourse in the industry and everything like that, what do you think of the current state of the industry, and what do you think could be done to make it more profitable and open to more people?
Oh man, coming in with the curveballs on that one, Wes.
Yeah, I had that little bit of mustard set up there just to...
So, the current state of kind of the TTRPG community, I feel like if you would have told me that the TTRPG community is where it is today 5 years ago, if I was involved in it, then I would have called you batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there is so much visibility in the TTRPG community these days. I mean, even taking big things like let's just take Wizards of the Coast and D&D out of the picture, because obviously with things like Critical Role and stuff like that, there's a huge following.
Yeah.
But I mean, we can look on the flip side of the coin for that with streams like LA by Night and Anarchs of New York and all the stuff that just gets spread around in the TTRPG community. I honestly think that right now the TTRPG community is a place for content creators to thrive, because even if we just kind of look at some of the situation of like, if anybody knows about the New York kind of World of Darkness games that B. Dave Walters runs, those get spread around to multiple channels, and that's what really I think helps provide that support in the community, is that you don't see one dedicated channel for one kind of plot line, right? Yeah. So you've got these big names in the industry that pop up on channels that have very small viewership. I mean, case in point, right? Everybody knows who Alexander Ward is, plays Jasper on LA by Night. Jasper's game day event that we ran for Bards Playhouse last year, we never in a million years thought we were going to be able to get him to be a part of the event. But, we had a spot open for a not well-known RPG. God, I can't even remember what it's called at this point, because it was still going on Kickstarter. But we had a spot that needed to be filled, and we reached out to Alex, and he was like, yeah, I'm not doing anything that day. Sign me up. No strings attached, nothing like that. So it was great.
Perfect.
What was the other half of that question? Because I feel like I still owe you a partial answer.
Oh, no. You, yeah. What is the current? What do you think of the current state, and what do you think could be done to make it more profitable and open?
What do I think could be done? You know what? I'm just gonna have to hit you with the hard facts. Pay content creators more.
Yeah. Legitimately.
Pay people what they're worth, man. Don't lowball people. I'm a big advocate for this. And I always have been, not just outside or not just in the TTRPG community, but people have skills and there is no such thing as low skill labor.
Yeah.
So don't come at
Fuck
content
yeah.
creators asking them for things and then telling them, well, I can go get it done somewhere else for cheaper, because they're going to tell you, then go get it done over there for cheaper.
Exactly. There's been a lot of opportunities that I myself have missed and our channel has missed because somebody has come in and they've asked me or somebody else to do something for them for an event they were having. And then when I mentioned how much the pay was going to be, they offered things like, like PDFs or, what it essentially comes out to, a shout out or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, honestly, PDFs are great, and a shout out is always nice. Engagement is always great, but engagement doesn't feed my cat. And I can't wipe my ass with a PDF. So,
Well, I mean, technically, you would just
yeah.
have to print it first.
I have to print it, but that's just more money on my,
That's true. You got to have the
exactly.
printer, and you got to pay for ink and paper.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I very resonate with you saying there is no unskilled labor. I completely agree. And I think people are also willing to work with you on the price. And that's the thing. If you can't find a person at your current price, or you can't find somebody that you think has the right quality at your current price, then I think you need to start looking for someplace else. Like the quality of what you get has to match what you're willing to pay out with these kind of things. And that goes to companies too. I completely agree. There's a lot of companies out there that they are making a lot of money. And they say that, all this money is being used completely on these products. And when you look at how much the costs, like, how much it costs to produce products like that, the numbers aren't exactly matching up completely.
Oh my God. Yeah, dude, look, like, on a level, we just recently set up a merch store for the Bards Playhouse, and I was like so shook about what the suggested like price points are on selling merch for like creators to make a profit.
Yeah.
And it's like, there is no reason that I should go to this company that is going to take, like, let's just say a t-shirt, right? That wants me to sell a t-shirt for $35 that's going to cost, 12 to produce.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that in a corporate world, in capitalist America that we live in, like, that's it. That's where to make the money. But that's not fair to people in our communities. To me, if it comes to products, like actual products that we put out, especially with like merch and things like that, I'm not really doing any work behind that merch, right?
Yeah.
You know who's doing the work behind the merch? The people that are designing a logo, the artists that are drawing the things, the people that were part of the show that created the content that went into the design that's going on the shirt. All I'm doing is sticking it on the merch and then listing it. So I don't think that I deserve to make, a killing off of that, whenever I would rather somebody, take a look at that and be like, oh, that's really cool. Where'd that come from? And then tell them about all the people that were involved in the production of whatever that merch was, and tell them to go pay them.
Yep. Exactly. Nah, exactly. It's going to be transparent about these things, We see a lot of people on Twitter. We see TTRPG influencers, for lack of a better term. I hate it. Taste makers, whatever you want to call them, that talk a big game. They talk a lot about, we were talking about earlier before about seeing your favorite bands producing an NFT, and it sucks. There are people in the space that are producing NFTs for TTRPGs, and you see a lot of people scream and yell against them. But then, when somebody that's their close personal friend starts getting and hawking them and, trying to promote them, they get a little quiet. Get a little quiet. Or, same thing of, be properly paying people, or properly promoting people, or people that are menaces within the scene, people that are not good people, that masquerade as good people.
Not gonna name any names.
Look. I will never name any names on public. I will put an allegedly at the end of it, unless somebody says that I have permission to name names. That is one of those big things that I believe that victims should be able to speak up for themselves, and if they can't, then they can ask somebody, and somebody can do that for them if they need to. But it's not me to air out somebody else's BS. But no, I mean, I completely agree with you on all points. There needs to be more transparency, and there needs to be more pay. If you want to see it, for a business to succeed, you have to be willing to invest in it. And for there to be a proper investment into it, you have to show that you yourself are willing to make that investment as well. And that is why TTRPGs have been so small for so long, and we're starting to see them get bigger because of Critical Role and Jasper's Game Day, what they're doing with Stephen Colbert, things of that nature have really promoted the hobby and the industry as a whole. Stranger Things was the first major thing to really bring Dungeons and Dragons into a popular mainstream media light. And the reason why Dungeons and Dragons became so popular is because their big company was willing to put investments in it to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you're a company like Wizards of the Coast, it's been around for so long, you see, you're throwing all these fishing hooks out there, and whenever you see one that gets grabbed onto, I mean, you've got the capital to sink into it. They're obviously going to do so. And what it really comes down to is that people have been playing Dungeons and Dragons since the 1980s, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like people have stopped playing. It's just that I feel like it's more acceptable these days. Like
it is.
It's even borderline cool to be playing Dungeons and Dragons or other TTRPGs right now.
It is. Yeah. I was getting drinks with a friend last night, and we were just sitting and talking, and it is wild to even now, because I am a niche micro internet celebrity. I have over 1,000 followers on Twitter. No, I'm very niche. It's very micro. But the thing is, here in our town, because me and Derek live in the same town, we live in the same city. I can go to a bar and somebody will walk up to me and say, "Oh, I saw your D&D thing. What is that all about? Tell me about it. It's very cool." And then they'll watch one, they'll watch Crack the Sky or something, and they'll be like, "I didn't know you could do mechs like Gundam and stuff like that." And it's like, yeah, homie, you can do whatever you want to. It's not just dragons and mimics and swords and gold and things of that nature. It's everything. And I think we're gonna be seeing more and more of this industry growing. Recently, Fear HQ, owned by AMC, just sponsored Kolak, Hyper RPGs, Kids on Bike series, which is wild. A television channel, a television broadcasting channel, is sponsoring a TTRPG game, which is wild to me. They're going to be airing it on AMC, or on Fear HQ, which is an AMC channel that you can get on DirecTV, which is wild to me. I never would have believed that.
I also think, a lot of that popularity is a lot of people realizing how much of a lot of popular media is influenced by TTRPGs. Yeah. Because, I was talking about playing Elden Ring, a lot of those, what's called derived from, Dungeons and Dragons, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The systems and everything. And so, even when we were talking about fucking what was the Champions Online? I didn't know that shit had a, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we were talking to Khaldun Khalil in our first episode back, and his first TTRPG was Champions, which is the hero system. And Derek, much like me, before I knew it was a TTRPG system, knew Champions Online, the MMORPG. A lot of people don't realize that is based off of a tabletop book. A lot of people do not realize that. Absolutely wild.
I mean, I think there's obviously, for those that are kind of in the communities, you got games like Neverwinter Nights and stuff like that that are D&D based. But really, if you've never heard of D&D, it's the same. You can pick up Neverwinter and not know anything about it, because well, boy, we could talk about math all the time. Gary Gygax with his tables is my boy. Rest in peace, homie. But just thinking about how all the novels and things like that have been produced by these companies to build up their lore. You know, even talking about World of Darkness. You know, I'm pretty sure I haven't read them yet, but some of my friends that have been in that community since it started up, like there are novels for all of the 13 original clans that are like based off of one character that is well known in the canon universe of that role-playing system.
Yep.
And like they're actual books that are about those characters, and that all plays into that kind of stuff. And I mean, it's really great to kind of see where all of those things branch out, right? And it's obviously ramping up with things like DMB, because you got games like, you know, Baldur's Gate 3, Dark Alliance, which is the story of
Drizzt.
that Drizzt. Yeah, that's right. And things like that. But man, just the amount of varying media that comes from TTRPGs is huge. One of my favorite books that I have not read in quite some time, but I picked up probably about 4 or 5 years ago, is another book by R.A. Salvatore, but it's called The Cleric Quintet, and it's fantastic. It's about 5 clerics in the D&D universe and the adventures and stuff that they go on, and it's a really great read. Definitely would recommend for those of you that are fans of the Drizzt series and like R.A. Salvatore, pick up Cleric Quintet. It's a great book.
That was, I mean, honestly, a lot of people talk about what is their most influential, like, especially when you talk about fantasy, like, what is your most influential, what is the thing that, like, as a kid, you latched onto? It was like, what was the fandom that you liked as a kid? A lot of people say Harry Potter. A lot of people say Series of Unfortunate Events. That was a big one for me, was Series of Unfortunate Events. And, like, I have a lot of people in our space, and, like, in this community, in this industry, will say, like, Lord of the Rings. I mean, I've got the first printing of the 2nd edition on my bookshelf over here. It's one of the most expensive items that I own in my house, is those 3 books. But that is not the first thing that got me into fantasy. It wasn't The Hobbit. It was the Dragonlance novels. And I didn't even know Dragonlance was a part of D&D. I just thought Dragons of Autumn's Twilight, like, I just thought that it was its own thing, that you know, Tracy Hickman and Margaret Weiss made. That Stern Bright Blade the Knight was just like had nothing to do with the D&D campaign. Raceland the Sorcerer, all that stuff like that. It's wild to just like when I came back later and found out that, like, no, this is actually connected to a campaign and there's a whole world and, like, D&D about it now, and I blew my mind. And you never know, because that might be somebody's first. The thing that you make might be somebody's first exposure to the thing that you love, and it might become something they love because you made it. Yep. Which kind of rolls into another good question here. Unless, Derek, do you have any questions or anything you want to pop in with?
This is kind of like a tonal shift type situation. You a coffee or a tea person?
I would have to say that I drink more coffee, but I prefer tea.
So, since you prefer tea, what's the perfect way for you to make your tea?
I like to try different types of teas, but with milk in them. So, like, I've got this really great, like, bubble tea place that I love to go to. It's like less than a 5-minute drive away from my apartment, and one of the great things about them is that they do tea and coffee, but it's like a boba place, right?
Yeah.
And they've got, like, they're like sponsored by Death Wish and everything, so they do like Death Wish espresso and all that stuff. And so I like my tea like in with boba. I'm not like a just hot tea with honey or just a plain like straight sweet tea kind of guy, but
Yeah.
I like to try the different types of teas and stuff like that. They like the most recent one that I tried, which I've had my eye on for a while, is Oolong Tea. I don't know why it took me so long to try it, because it is delicious with, you know, some heavy cream in it and some like lychee popping bubbles to get that sweetness in there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's how I like my tea. How I like my coffee is with way too much creamer in it.
Got it.
I'm a blonde coffee kind of guy.
Yeah.
That is,
Yeah.
hey, that is perfectly reasonable. I have never understood anybody like judging somebody for how they drink coffee. That has been a big thing. Like me working in like the service industry for so long and hearing people being like, I can't believe you put creamer in your coffee to make it taste better for you. What a fucking nerd. Like I will never fuck with anybody like that on any kind of level. That's like, you're gonna look at somebody and like disrespect them for how they drink their coffee. Fucking, I don't care if you put a whole gallon of milk in your coffee. Like that's, you know, if that's how you want to drink it, that's how you want to drink it, homie. Like I don't know. Like,
it's all gonna have the same effect on you. You get the caffeine intake regardless of how you drink the coffee. Okay.
And my thing about people like that is like, why would you limit yourself and drink the same way every single time?
Yeah,
try new things, people.
Try new things, yeah. Well, and it goes into that. I worked in the bar industry for a long time. I worked as a door guy. I worked as a bartender. I've worked. If there's a service industry job, I've worked as it. And like the thing of like, and a lot of it comes with toxic masculinity. A lot of like people being like, I don't drink anything unless it's just straight whiskey neat, or it's the worst tasting beer you've ever had in your life. And like, I as a person, my favorite drink right now to drink is tequila Sprite with pineapple juice. I think that is. I think that is delicious. I think that is. It's fucking delicious. I love it. It's fucking great. There's no caffeine in it, so I just like, you know, like it's just nice to sip on. I'll sometimes mix out the Sprite with soda water if I don't want as much sugar. It's great. It's fantastic. But like I see it all the time, like, you know, in the bar industry, people are like, can't believe you're drinking a fruity drink. Drink a fruity fucking drink. Have you ever drank a fucking strawberry daiquiri? Shit's fucking delicious.
Delicious.
Like
gets drunk just as fast. Actually, usually it gets drunk faster because there's multiple types of liquor in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Long Island iced tea, that'll do you. Get two of them, then you're good for the night. I love tiki drinks. Tiki culture is something that is very interesting to me because it's not real. Like that's the biggest thing about tiki culture is like everybody's like, oh, so they're appropriating culture from Samoa and Hawaii, and it's like, no. Tiki isn't real. It's not a real thing. It's not. It's just.
It's a thing a corporation made up to sell you.
Exactly. But I love the idea of wearing like floral shirts and having this big old fucking like fuck off glass container that has somebody's face in the side of it. I've got a Kraken one someplace around here that's like, it's a giant Kraken jar, but it's like, yeah, I'm gonna take 3 different types of liquor. I'm gonna take 3 different types of fruit juices. I'm gonna take fuck off amount of fruit. I'm gonna put it all together, and I'm just gonna make this gigantic monstrosity, and I'm gonna drink it. I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna get drunk, and I'm going to feel great about myself. And then there's going to be a guy across the bar that's having a double IPA that is just wincing every time he takes a drink of his can. And I'm like, if you're going to do something, why not enjoy it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like I just recently, so 2 of my favorite liquors, right? I love Crown Apple. I'm just a big apple kind of guy. I've always loved apple flavored things. And I like Malibu, just a regular old coconut liquor.
Yep.
And I've never thought to mix both of them together because, you know, coconut and apple not really doesn't sound like it complements each other. But,
yeah,
man, let me tell you, you put 2 shots of the Apple Crown, 1 shot of Malibu, and a can of Dr. Pepper.
And a can of Dr. Pepper. I'm going to write this down. Wally, write this down. Write this down.
Hey,
all right. Can of Dr.
that sounds
Pepper,
all right.
1 shot at Malibu.
That sounds like some interesting taste.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that. I'm actually gonna try that tonight. When we get done, we're gonna experiment a little bit. Fantastic. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, considering doing things and enjoying them for enjoyment, what do you have to say to what do you have to say to those that want to get into TTRPG streaming? Because playing TTRPGs is one thing. It's easy. There's like, you know, there's little to no risk factor. Like, but streaming is its own other beast. There's a lot that goes into it. So do you have any kind of like advice or anything?
Okay. Well, seeing as I'm still relatively new to the environment, I can tell you guys what I've been told and what I've known works for me. So, um, don't get discouraged. That's the biggest thing whenever it comes to TTRPGs. Like a lot of people that a lot of channels, including uh, over here at Carrion Comfort and a lot of the other big names in the industry,
It
have
warms my heart that
public.
you call me big name. That warms my
Look,
heart.
look, Wes. Whenever I tweeted out that this channel is one of the most influential channels to me, I wasn't just doing it for the clout. Okay. um, but anyway, you're gonna see a lot of like these channels recruiting, right? You'll get Google forms that go out because a lot of the people that run TTRPG communities that do stuff like this want to diversify. They want to give more people opportunities to play in their games, but at the same time, whenever it comes to the production, you have to realize that, I mean, Wes has 1,000 followers, right? If even a quarter of his followers apply to be in a game, imagine the amount of work that Wes has to do, because you can't convince me otherwise, Wes. I know you're the one going through all of those Google forms and reviewing all those applications. That
Thank you.
not everybody is going to get picked for a 6-person show.
Yeah.
So don't get discouraged. Don't feel bad if you don't get that spot on the show that you really wanted to be a part of because you're a big fan of the show and you really want to play. Keep talking to people. Network, build relationships in the community. Support the communities that you think deserve to be supported. If your favorite TTRPG community has a Patreon, get on their Patreon. Like Twitch is great, guys. It's amazing, but look, man, we're gonna say it how it is. Even partners only get like what 70% cost. Affiliates only get 50% on subs. So you're giving half of your money to Twitch for most TTRPG communities. So support people where they're supported, and keep trying. Eventually, you are going to get it. Somebody is going to ask you to come play in their stream with you. Next, do not feel bad for being a new player. Never, ever feel bad for being a new player, because if you get brought on for a show, most likely you have already explained to whoever is recruiting for that show that you are a new player. A lot of the times we are here to support all of that kind of inclusivity. And thirdly, which is just kind of the last one, don't be a piece of shit, because trans lives matter, BIMPOC lives matter, and we in the TTRPG community do not appreciate or tolerate any of the kind of bullshit that is going to be not inclusive to everybody. We're here to be an open community, and the communities and channels that you want to fuck with are going to all be that way.
Yep.
Don't be a piece of shit. Life lesson.
That is probably the most important rule, is don't be a piece of shit. There's often in the cyclical nature. I kind of have another question that we don't have on our list of questions, and I know there's a very important question that Derek has that might be next. But when it comes to TTRPG discourse, which is cyclical in nature, every 6 months we rotate through. Is Matt Mercer actually a good person? Is D&D okay? Should you play other games? What about having all white people at a table? All this stuff like that. Like it's the same arguments, the same discussions that are always argued every 6 months because TTRPG Twitter cannot come up with new content. I'll tell you right now, TTRPG Twitter, there's a lot of people coming up with new content. You need to start putting your energy towards other things instead of saying whether or not it's okay for sex workers to play D&D. That was a fucking argument that I saw one time, and I had to turn my phone off and throw it across my room. I was like, I can't believe that we're fucking like, how are we here at this point, at this juncture in our life? But what it all comes down to is gatekeeping is not a bad thing if it's proper gatekeeping. Gatekeeping can be good. It can be utilized for good. I gatekeep on a daily life for my community, for the people. Like when we do content, when I do a show like this, when I do an interview show like this, me and Derrick are doing this interview show, and we bring on a guest and we extend an invitation to somebody to be a guest on a show like this. This is us giving our own personal stamp of approval for this guest. This means that we are comfortable with this person, and this person has not been a fuck shit at all. There are a lot of people that reached out to me that want to be interviewed that I will never interview on this show because I do not feel that they are safe, and I do not feel that I should give them a platform to be able to utter their shit. And I've interviewed people before in the past that I thought were great people, and it turns out they were pieces of shit. You know, it just comes with the territory. But gatekeeping is good sometimes, and it's primarily there to keep pieces of shit, like Brandon said, out.
Look, and I mean, I agree with you because here's the thing, and I'm gonna let everybody know, hand on heart, right hand to whatever gods you believe in. I don't even pay that much attention to the discourse on TTRPG Twitter because, like Wes said, I am a grown-ass man. I have a full-time job, and I just don't have time to live with that trauma most of the time. But there's some things that come up on there that, like you, Wes, I mean, just boggle my mind. I saw one point in time where there was somebody that was just going off on a rant that had a thread of like 18 tweets, and it was just the page owner, 18 tweets about why a TTRPG community that doesn't cast like a bare minimum percentage of BIMPOC people in their shows shouldn't be producing content. And I'm like, you know what? That's an opinion of yours. Yes, it is true that, BIMPOC people need to be seen. They need to be in streams because they like TTRPGs just the same as any other people do. But should a channel get canceled just because they have a certain outlook for a certain show that doesn't cast who you think should be in that show?
I think it comes down to what it ultimately comes down to is what you're trying to do with the show. What is your main focus and what is the main point, and that's what your casting should come down to. That was one of the things with our Fables games that recently came out, and we have at that table we have a majority black cast. And that came down to scheduling, and it came down to availability and people that I knew enjoyed the source material and could do it. We've had games before in the past where we had Derrick was like the only person of color with Crack the Sky at the very beginning of it, and it was like I wanted Derrick at the table. That's how we casted it, and we had a large cast, and we turned that cast down after a while. And it just happens. Sometimes it shakes out like that. But I do believe that there should be an active outlook for trying to find people of color, because they're out there. It is not hard. Yeah,
absolutely. Like it's just one of those kinds of things of like people, any race, culture, ethnicity that feels like they're not seen, like they deserve to have that exposure. Yeah, because I mean, it doesn't matter what the color of your skin or your religion is. If you enjoy playing games, then you should be able to play games, right? Yeah. And we're going to be on the level. That should be the way it is with life. Like, it doesn't matter whether you're white, black, Asian, Indian, whatever have you. You should be able to enjoy living and not have any kind of stipulations put on you just because of what you look like or what you believe in. Yeah.
And agreed. And that definitely translates to the scene, and especially streaming it. With all that said, it's one of those things is there's a whole wide world of shows and streams. If you go to the D&D tag or you go to Tabletop tag on Twitch, there's so much content being produced that you could find anything. You can find anything that you want to watch. Currently, our friends over at Gehenna Gaming are doing Alien right now. There is Rivals of Waterdeep that has it's an all black cast, all black like D&D game. It's amazing. It's fantastic stuff. There's Motherlands RPG, which is, Cypher of Tyr does Motherlands, same thing. There is Venture Maidens and Broadswords. That's all women at the table. There's like there is enough out there now that you can get whatever you want to. Rolling D's 20s, exactly. They are right now. Some friends are over there. They're right now streaming Vampire the Masquerade. Shout out Prince and the rest of the homies over there. Lonzo and Fur.
One that just comes to my mind off the top of my head, over on Q Times, they have an all black cast for Blackness and Dragons. It's an all black D&D game.
It's great.
So
it's great.
Yeah,
there's something out there for everybody. Yep. Everybody. Speaking of something out there for everybody, do you got another question for our homie here, Derrick?
Yeah. All right. So you sitting at your desk, right?
I'm sitting at my desk. Yeah.
Heavy bass sound, like soul shattering bass.
Mm-hmm.
White light flashes. Aliens have revealed themselves. So does this fracture society or heal it?
I think it fractures it. To be honest with you, I don't think aliens are gonna come be helpful. And this is the age-old debate. We all know how big our universe is. There's no way that there's non-intelligent life somewhere out there.
Yeah.
It's impossible for there not to be. If an alien race that is capable of space travel to the point where they can get from wherever they are in the galaxy to Earth comes here, they're not doing it out of the goodness of their hearts. Because I don't think people like humans, if and when we finally get to the point where we're able to space travel like that, I don't think we're going to go to another planet and be like, hey, yo, what's up? We're here to help you guys out. We're just here out of the goodness of our hearts.
Yeah.
Let us do whatever it is, you need for us to do. As much
we
as
can even do that for ourselves.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that it would be bad. I think if aliens came to the planet in a grand scale of where it's like, boom, there's aliens here now. We're up shit creek without paddle.
I like to hold out hope that maybe, just maybe, something like Arrival will happen, where everybody is they're actually there to teach us a language so that we can help them out down the line, something like that. I hope, but I might be right there with you that it might actually fracture society and it might cause more problems than. It's a scary thought. Thought.
Man, and then you gotta think about like how people are gonna spin that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hell yeah, aliens. They are actually the true gods, and blah blah blah.
And here's it's not a cult. It is a religious support group that worships our new overlords, the aliens that came down in their ship, and they have not done anything but just studied marine life for the past 6 weeks, and they have not made contact with anybody.
They're just chilling out. They're just chilling out over the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, just hanging out. It's like, oh no, that's just the weather control device that the government has.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's a hoax. It's not an actual alien. It's just a weather balloon that's out there in the middle of the ocean that's collecting sea life and leaving. Yeah, no, definitely. God, that's the thing. Like movies like Don't Look Up, Arrival, Independence Day, like really get the nail on the head of like how people would Mars Attacks, how people would react if these things happen.
To be fair, I think that the general populace, their reaction to aliens showing up on Earth would be like defensive.
Yeah,
this is coming from somebody that lives in a southern state and is very much like, don't take my guns away from me.
Yeah.
Wait, Texas would be up in arms.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Well, we are getting close to the end of our interview here, Brandon, and I ask this question of all of our guests, and it's a very important question. But what things do you want to come from your time on Earth?
What things do I want to come from my time on Earth? I want people to look at the things that I have been involved in and be able to say that they got enjoyment out of it. Not just the people that I have directly kind of interacted with. That's also one of the reasons why I've really gotten into streaming is that, and I feel like a lot of content creators feel this way. We want to make content for people to enjoy it. We're not doing it for the fun of it because there's a whole lot of stress that comes with content creation. But I honestly, before I leave this mortal coil, I wish that people would say, you know what, Brandon did a really good job at making sure that people were entertained. Even if it was for a short amount of time, I'll be happy with that.
I think that is a very noble pursuit to have, and I completely wholeheartedly agree. We don't make this stuff just like you said, just for fun, but for people to enjoy it, and hopefully we can make a living off of it, so where we can make more. But sometimes that is not the case until you are gone. Perfect. All right. Well, my friend, Brandon, we have gotten to the point where we have asked you a series of questions. We have gotten to know you. And now we have what is called a rapid fire round where me and Derrick are going to list off questions to you. And we want you to answer as quickly as possible off the top of your dome. First thing that comes to mind, things of that nature. And these questions, they have been randomly assorted from my brain. And so if you have a problem with one of them, then we will take it up in the back lot of a Denny's after this interview. Perfect. So, Derrick, you want to go ahead and kick us off with a rapid fire round, my friend?
All right. What social stigma does society need to get over?
What we were just talking about, color people's skin.
Tang or Kool-Aid?
Tea.
Favorite hockey team?
I don't watch sports.
Dragonlance or Forgotten Realms?
Dragonlance.
What's the most expensive thing you've broken?
A television.
Necktie, bow tie, bolo tie. What you got?
Necktie.
Favorite comfort television show that's out right now?
The Last Kingdom, I think is what it's called on Netflix.
Nice. And your favorite tattoo?
This one right here.
Is that Gara? Is that Gara?
It is Gara.
I was about to
That's
say
right.
it looks like Gara. Okay. Looks like Gara. All right. Well, thank you, Brandon, also known as the DMB, also known as a dear friend of Carrion Comfort Studios. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your answers and your insight here, my friend. Before we get out, can you go ahead and tell the people at home where they can find you, where they can interact with you, things of that nature?
Absolutely. So again, my name is Brandon. I am the DMB or DMB Gaming. The place that you can find me the most reliably is on the Bird app, Twitter, at the DMB with 2 underscores after it. Please also follow the Bards Playhouse official Twitter at Bards Playhouse. That is where you can find me most frequently. Promise you that even if you don't see me on screen, I am involved either with running tech. I mostly manage the social media for Bards Playhouse as well. So if you see any tweets that are controversial there, please come flame my personal account and tell me just how bad you feel about it. But yeah, what's the newest thing that you can see me come next Saturday? Actually, I'm running a Vampire the Masquerade V5 one shot over on our channel at the Bards Playhouse, twitch.tv/the Bards Playhouse, featuring an absolute all-star cast of people that consider themselves forever storytellers. And one of the things that we wanted to do for them over on the Bards Playhouse was give them an opportunity to be a player, because we all know what it's like to be the forever storyteller.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Derek, where can people find you?
You can find me if you look for me on Twitter, Phasing Octopus, not the Phasing Octopus, but everywhere else, I am the Phasing Octopus. That's music streaming services, Twitch, everywhere, Instagram, all of that, TikTok. My TikTok name's stupid. I don't remember it right now. And I'm just now starting to do TikToks, so we'll get there eventually.
There you go. Perfect. And my name is Wes Franks. I am the creative director and founder of Carrion Studios. I'm one of your hosts for this show. And I will be seeing you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern for Carrion Comfort News, where we have a lot of great news that are coming up that we want to discuss. Me and Zoe want to go and discuss with you, including we also have Spider-Man Villain Smasher Pass at the end of it. So be sure to tune in and be sure to see some hot takes on who we think is hot and who do we think is not in the Spider-Man coterie of villains there. We also have Comfort Sickle this Tuesday. Zoe is going to be taking Leslie's place. We have Good Game Well Played. We've got more shows. Yaziba's Bed and Breakfast, Kingdom Hearts Interstitial War. Follow us. Dear, follow us on Twitter. Go ahead and hit up YouTube for all of our previous shows. This interview and other interviews will be found there. It is all free, so won't you consider leaving a like, going ahead, leaving a comment, and subscribing to help get some engagement up. We're trying to build up our YouTube right now to be as an alternative in case Twitch becomes even more of a hellhole than it is. Consider subscribing us here, but if you would like to support us directly, then you can go ahead and support us on Patreon. You can also support us by tipping us directly through our Pally link that helps give not just me, but also our mods paid, like Derek down here, gets them all paid, gets them some money for the hard work that they do. So we split it evenly. I believe that in a work, this is not a company, it is a collective, and so we should all get paid to same share. So go ahead and support us there. If you also want to support us in other ways, we have sponsors. We have Callow for all your gaming supplement needs. We have Dice Envy for all your dice needs. We have 1985 Games for all of your other TTRPG accessories. They have a Kickstarter that is out right now with their VHS dice set. And if you go to our Discord,
they are beautiful.
They're gorgeous. They are
So
gorgeous. I have pledged, I have supported, I have gotten my own. I've gotten a few sets actually on the way as soon as they hit their funding, which they have hit their funding. So I cannot wait. But if you hit our link at our Discord server right now, where you can go hang out and watch wrestling with us and other things, then you can find a special link that will help support us by going and supporting them on their Kickstarter. It helps give us a little bit of commission for bringing people to their Kickstarter. So do consider looking at that. And then we only have a few more days. We have about 4 more days for HelloFresh. This month's spotlight sponsor was HelloFresh. If you go ahead and you support HelloFresh through our link that we drop here, you're not only providing us $100. We get paid $100 for every new subscriber, but you also get up to 16 free meals plus 3 surprise gifts across 6 HelloFresh boxes. And you get free shipping, and the first one is at a very reduced price, and the next 5 are at a reduced price as well. So go ahead and get you some HelloFresh, easy to cook meals without the stress of having to go to the grocery store. I use it because I am on a diet, and I am doing workout plans, and HelloFresh helps me. I cook for 2 people, though it is just my own, and so I have a meal for the next day. It works perfectly, so go ahead, support HelloFresh, and support us as well. We are going to be getting out of here soon. But before we do, go ahead and get ready. I have started the raid. We are going to be raided into Gehenna Gaming, where they are doing their part 2 of their Chariot of the Gods Alien Anthology series. And go ahead and show them some love and tell them that we sent you. And do not forget, comfort comes soon. Au revoir.